In 1976, Disney Imagineers decided to remove the Mickey Mouse Club Theater in Disneyland and insert a Pinocchio-themed dark ride into the space. It was originally intended for the guests to ride in cars designed to resemble Geppetto's wood-carved toys. However, the idea was put on hold for a while. It was revived for the opening of Tokyo Disneyland in 1983. The attraction came to Disneyland a month and a half later as a part of the complete overhaul of Fantasyland. The Disneyland ride is placed in the Fantasyland courtyard where the Mickey Mouse Club Theater originally stood. The building is topped with 3 decorative weather vanes, which look like a school of 8 fish, a stork with a baby, and a whale. The exterior of the building is based on the concept of Stromboli's theater drawn by Gustav Tringen. The Disneyland version of the ride was the first Disney Parks attraction to use holographic material, which appears on a handheld mirror in the scene where the boys turn into donkeys on Pleasure Island. The Pepper Ghost illusion is used extensively in the Haunted Mansion. It is used when the blue fairy disappears, leaving a pile of fiber optic fairy dust on the floor. Living in a life that is full of discrepancy. In a life where you may feel like a toy, where a blue fairy has to bring you to life. But test on the journey of, you want to become a real boy. And because of that, there's something amazing about this ride as it is. It tells the story of Pinocchio and his daring journey. His journey to become a real boy. And the real boy motive is something that he strives for every single day. With Jiminy Cricket's help, along with Geppetto's love, it's a score in the making. Yet, the score seems to be impalpable towards what seems most palatable. And maybe there's a little bit of things that you can take away from this. Maybe there's things that we can all relate to in terms of this ride, in terms of the story that it tells. From the 1940 classic Pinocchio, this ride retraces its steps in terms of what makes Pinocchio the greatest story ever told. Although debatable, there's something great about this story in the least, and the greatest thing that you can come up of it comes from a book to a story, and to a story to the screen, and to the screen to the ride. And there's nothing else more than ever there seems to be in terms of the world aspect of this ride. See, we know the journey, we know the ride, and we know the story. But here's the thing, what's the greatest thing to happen in your life, in my life, that we can reflect upon in the terms of the ride based on its details? Well, let's go into detail. Okay, so there's something kind of interesting about this ride. The way it presents a story. The way it carries over in terms of the story that it relays upon over and over and over again. And the beauty that transcends every single thing and every single Disney movie ever known to man. I mean, think about it. The song, "When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you." That wouldn't be the main theme of Disney if it wasn't so popular. And due to the popularity or non-popularity in the 1940s, there's something beautiful about it. Almost like the story's superseding itself into another story. It's almost superseding itself from one message to the other. And because of that, that seems to be something that's really interesting nonetheless. What makes the story meaningful is a marionette doll turning into a real boy. And the journey that it takes so. And for all intents and purposes, that's what makes this ride so great. And that's what makes this ride so grand. That's what makes this movie so iconic in terms of the pop culture icon that both of them precede. And with that, it's in Disneyland for a reason. Now, it being kind of like this great Disneyland, grand Disneyland ride, that seems to be something that's beautiful in terms of the ride, in terms of the upbringing of such a ride. So, based on the wait times in the line, how popular is the ride? How meaningful is the ride? And what's the Worldview message? Well, application, of course. Okay, so, when you believe in something great, you're going to take the time to make sure it happens. See, the thing is, when you wish upon a star, it doesn't necessarily happen as easy as you think. Sometimes you have to make sure you take the right steps in order to get where you need to be, to get to that one prize at the end goal. That one deserved thing that you were hoping for all your life, that you've been praying for all your life. You have to go on a daring journey. Take steps to get there. Because here's the thing, you're the only one that can do it. Make sure this upcoming year, you take the steps you need to take to get successful. because it's all in due timing. And do you want to spend it being a marionette, or do you want to spend it being a free man? Thank you for coming to my application, and let's continue forward. Thank you for my Logan story. Thank you for this historical movie context of Disneyland rides. There'll be more rides in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Also, the mission is 1,000 subscribers. You guys know me, get the by hitting the share, like, and subscribe button right on the screen. Also, by hitting that bell. Leave a comment if you can, too. Thank you again, and peace.